City of Stars. Oscar-winning original song from the movie La La Land. Came out in December of 2016. I saw this movie. I don't see many movies. And I got to tell you a little sideline story about this before we get into what's going to go on in this lesson. And that is, so about once a year I go to a movie. And that was it for this year in December. But what we're going to do here is a few different things. One thing is, there will be what I will call the Campfire version. One of my students, a high school student of mine, wanted to work on this. And I thought, oh man, she's only been playing for a few months, and it's going to be really hard for her to do some of this stuff on the guitar. And so we worked out a Campfire version where she can pick out that little opening and then just strum through the chords, which we'll get to in a little while. So I do have a Campfire version coming up. Now they play this there are 3 different versions on the soundtrack album, and in 3 different keys. We're going to talk about it in 2 different keys, but then you could use the capo to get into any key that is comfortable for you to sing it. The first version that we hear, Ryan's solo version, is technically, well, let me think about this. In the key of A. We're going to get into it by capoing the key of G up to the 2nd fret. So, and I'm going to talk about these in the major keys that they're in, even though they always resolve to the relative minor. So there's going to be some harmonic confusion going on here as this lesson progresses. I'm telling you way too much about this right now, but what the heck? We'll get to all the good stuff in the next couple segments. Now, when they sing the duet version, it's in a different key. It's actually in E, and they get to that by capoing. Is it in E? Wait a minute. No, it's in F. They do that by capoing to the 3rd fret, or we're going to do that by capoing. Of course, they don't use the capo on the piano. We're going to get into that one. So we're going to really talk about it in G and D, 2 different keys. Then we would use the capo to put the G1 in A, and the capo at the 3rd to put the D1 in F. But you can do that wherever you want. That's just if you want to play along with one of the original recordings. Now, the album ends with a humming version where Emma Stone is humming along in A minor. Now, one of the versions is going to start on A minor, and one is going to start on E minor of the 2 different keys. So it'll be fairly simple. But before we get to just looking at the chart, what I got to tell you to do is don't print up the chord chart. I should have told you this way in the beginning, so we wouldn't have to sit through this 5 minutes of rambling. But don't print out the chord chart if you want to take what I'm going to call the harmony challenge. And that is figuring out the chords by the chart that I have that has numbers on it. Roman numerals, large ones representing major chords, small ones representing minor chords, with additions of 7s or numbers in parentheses that tell you about an alternate bass note. And so we're going to talk about that more in the next segment. If you want to just strum through it, print up the one that says chords and mess around with it. Go with a very simple strum, bass, down, up, bass, down, up, down, up. A little bit of swing to it. And if you want to figure out, I've got the capo at the 2nd fret now because that's the first version we're going to look at, version A, Ryan's solo version, the short one, only has 1 verse and a little whistling outro. Okay, back to the harmony challenge. Welcome to what I'm going to call the harmony challenge. This is for you to figure out what the chords are by their musical numerals. And then you want to figure it out in 2 different keys, both in the key of G and the key of D. And then, so you're going to write this out, hopefully. Or you can just print up the chart that follows this. But this is going to be a fun project, I think, for many of you. So let me just review a few things about the numerals that we use to represent chords. Everything I've done on this page, the harmony page, is with respect to the major key that it's in. So don't forget, in a major key we have 3 major chords, 3 minor chords, and 1 diminished chord. The diminished chord, of course, falls on step 7. The major chords are 1, 4, and 5, and the minor chords are 2, 3, and 6. In this segment, we're just going to take a look at the simplest way to play this song. the Campfire version in both keys. I'm going to do them both without a capo, but again, if you want to play along with the original or just move it into a better key for your voice, put the capo wherever you want. First, we're going to talk about it in the key of G, which is what starting on chord 2 is A minor. This could be done as simply as just using the folk strum, down, down, up, down, up. It would sound a little bit better. Well, two things. If you hit a bass note on the first beat, because there are times where we have some moving bass notes that we want to get in. So bass, down, up, down, up, with little swing feel. Don't forget, in the swing feel, the ups are late. Here would be no swing. But if you think about that very beginning of the song, it's kind of iconic because the little arpeggio we hear does not go like this. It's a great example of swing. And I talked about at the end of the Harmony Challenge section what that arpeggio is. So a great way to start this song would be with this A minor arpeggio.